Hey, social media family. Welcome back to another YouTube podcast episode. If you are an Alexis Love Beauty, I am going to ask you to click off this podcast so we can talk to our men. Thank you. Hi, gentlemen. We're going to have a raw and uncut conversation about stop attracting women like your mother. You know how we be like, I want a man like my dad, or how a man would be like, I want a woman like my mom, or I love her because she's like my mother. How is your mother? And now, from the outside looking in, I can tell how you can look at somebody's relationship and tell how their parent was because you can see how that relationship is going. You can tell if you know somebody in a domestic violence relationship, but you know that person and they're like, man, I love her because she's like my mother. I love him because he's like my father. And you're like, man, why you just won't break up with them? Or maybe you don't know that's why they love them. And you looking like, man, why you just won't break up with them, bro? Like, they just totally disrespectful. Like, bro, you done been through hell and back, heaven and back. And you just, bro, like, bro, just gone, bro. Like, it could be because they're so and they feel embedded to that person because they reminds them of their parent. But how dangerous is that if you had a toxic parent? I don't agree with whooping or beating or even yelling at children because they never understand. This is why we don't have an understanding. Imagine not having both parents there and the one you did, they was talking to you crazy, which 90% of the world, I believe, probably got, because this is our outcome. This is our outcome. So attracting people like your parents, it's supposed to be a compliment. But I don't know if I would want to compare that to my parents. Like looking at the history, like I don't want a man like my father. I don't want a man to have the characteristics of my mother. I don't. In the name of Jesus. I want a man to be a man of God. When you hear somebody say a man of God, God trained that man. God lives within that man. Greater is he who is within me than he that's in the world. Your parents are of the world. Come on, Jesus. So they're going to teach you worldly things. They didn't have to teach you how to abuse nobody because you've seen it already. It's just being in the atmosphere of it. It was just being in the atmosphere of that lady's womb. You know, you have that soul tie with your mother. So that disrespect is natural because she connected that to you. And then when you came out here into the world, you witnessed that, and now you're attracting that. This is all attraction, this is all energy. But in order to get out of attracting or trying to figure out why you're dating women like your mother, this is what you call the work. This is what you call seeking a first. This is what you call some of these things come forth by nothing but fasting and prayer to get an understanding. You have to put some work in. What I found out, and it took me 15 years to realize, a man I never dated, I had just been intimate with, we never dated. Never dated. And it would be so crazy because when I would talk to people, I had nothing but the utmost respect for him and to talk on his behalf. You would think that we were married, but we kind of were. It's called spirit spouses. So in the spiritual realm, we were. But how delusion was that to be married in the spirit, but not be married in the physical? Y'all ain't never even dated. Come to find out, that soul tie was a mother wound. And when you start looking at the other characteristics, the other behaviors of yourself, when you start looking at your love language, your lifestyle, your attachment styles, like you have an anxious attachment style, like, man, I just don't want you to leave, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you gotta be my girl, like, da da da. You get that because that attraction that you have from your mother. You should not be crying and doing certain things to keep a woman. Because if a woman really likes you, there's things that you don't have to do. So we have work, and we're continuing to work as I'm continuing to learn and grow myself for beginners on the channel about breaking soul ties and how to get out of those things. And I pray the Lord's will one day on this channel, because I don't want to be one of them people that just be telling people like, man, this is what happened. But you know how people would be like, man, I had, what people would be like, people would say like, oh, this what happened before I was a millionaire, but they never give you the tea, or before somebody becomes successful, or before somebody do something or whatever going on in their life. They'll just tell you like, bro, well, they won't even tell you. People don't even tell you. So I want to be able to give like that whole blueprint of some of the work I had to go through, but because I'm still learning and going through it, I just drop it in certain type of works or certain type of series. But there's work over here where you can learn about different things like that. Because I know, if a person is not a good person, you shouldn't want that person in your life. And this attraction that we think or that we have, that it should be like our parent, or we should live in the, what is it called when we be like generation and tradition and all of the things. Like everything don't have to be traditional. Like don't get caught up in what the world has already been doing. The purpose of men and women together is so they can become one. You're not supposed to be becoming one with your mother. That part is already over with. But this new relationship, this relationship with the woman, it shouldn't be perverted. So some mothers pervert their sons' relationships because they low key crushing on a son. And I'm so glad people coming out and say that. An example of a relationship like that, if you don't know the signs of what that look like, look up Blueface and Carlissa, his mother's relationship. You will hear a grown man say it out of his own mouth, and sometimes grown men already be knowing, but because they have that anxious attachment to their mother, they feel like, man, this is my mama. Like I ain't gonna let nobody disrespect her. They still stick around, but you have a a man is blessed. He that finds a good thing, a good thing. You'll be blessed by God. So again, everybody got their own type. If that's your type, cool. But imagine your type being a domestic violence woman, because that's how your mama was, and that lady take your life. That's what it's coming down to out here. Be careful in them relationships. Be careful with the people that you want to attract, because it remind you of so and so. Like look at the life of these people and see, why would you want that in your life? Why would you condone that in your relationships? Just because you a man, you don't have to go for anything. Just because it seems like ain't nothing out here, or you ain't never got no pool or play, you don't have to go for anything. Love yourself. I love you.